My name is Donna Howard, and I'm the mother of 3 and the grandmother of 6. My story starts out in 1990 when, on my daughter's 14th birthday, she told me that she was hearing the New Kids on the Block sing happy birthday to her through the air conditioner. And needless to say, it's been a crazy roller coaster ride since then. I immediately called our pediatrician, and for a year we didn't have a diagnosis, and finally, after a year, she ended up in UCLA at the Neuropsychiatric Institute, and they did an evaluation on her for 3 weeks and came up with the diagnosis of chronic paranoid schizophrenia at age 15, which is rare. Usually people with schizophrenia are not diagnosed or don't have symptoms until they're early to mid-20s. So she was in and out of hospitals for 13 years, and needless to say, it was a crazy time in our lives. For me as well as my sons. Her father was killed when she was 10 in a car accident, so he was no longer in the picture, so it was kind of just us. But anyway, we made it through, and in 2002, I say God sent a doctor here to Oxford, a psychiatrist, as a lot of us mothers say, saved our lives and saved our children's lives. He started Cassie on a different medication than she'd ever been on before, and it has made all the difference in the world in her life. For 13 years she was so paranoid and so afraid of everything and so OCD that her life was just unbearable at times. But now that she's on this medication, she functions fairly well. Since she became ill at such an early age, she does have the social skills of a 16-year-old. And if you can imagine living with a 16-year-old forever, we have our moments. She's 37 now. She lives alone, owns her own home, and works here at the store. She never finished high school because they didn't know how to cope with her at that time. This was, like I say, in '90 when she became ill. So anyway, she ended up working at a grocery store here in town, sacking groceries, and absolutely hated it. Every day it was, Mama, please let me quit, please let me quit. And of course, her doctor and I both felt like it was a really good thing for her because it gave her a purpose, gave her something to do. So anyway, one day my sister-in-law and I were in Nashville shopping, and we went into a thrift store. And my sister-in-law started talking to the owner, and he had opened his store because his daughter was autistic and could not find a job. And he took in donations, just like the Salvation Army and the Goodwill, and he employed people with special needs. So I thought, well, I can do that. My profession I was director of radiology at a hospital. So I started working on this and researching it and praying about it, and it just wouldn't come together. And so I thought, okay, this is not what I'm supposed to be doing. 2 years ago now, I had a granddaughter born in Nashville, and I was back up there, and I was drawn to the store again, so I went and talked to the man again, and then I got my brother to go with me and talk to him about how he'd gotten started and the financial end of it and all that. So again, I started praying about it and looking into it, and God just started opening doors. I mean, the building, I drove by this building a dozen times and thought, no, I don't want it, that's not what I want. And finally I said, okay, I'm going to go look at it, because everything else was just more than I could afford. So I called my landlord and came in and we looked at it, and I said, it's really smaller than what I want. And he said, if you outgrow it, I'll build on for you. So that's what I've done, and we are talking about building on now. So everything I asked for, God seemed to supply. I needed carpet for the floor. I went to a carpet store here in town. They gave me the carpet. Talked to a businessman in town about some of my needs. He hired someone to build all these shelves and paid for all the material for it. It just all started falling into place. So a year ago, last December 1st, I left my job as director of radiology at the hospital and opened this store. We now have 7 employees. Several of them are mentally ill. We do have a couple that have physical disabilities for support staff. So it has just really, it's been a blessing. We have a wonderful time. We have a lot of fun. We help a lot of people. We have some volunteers that are mentally ill that come and work, and the parents of all these kids, I call them kids, but they're really young adults, come to me and say what a blessing it's been and how helpful it's been for them to have a purpose, to have something to do. So it's just been more than I could ever imagine. I speak at all the civic clubs and churches that I can to get the word out because we don't have a lot of funding. And last week I had a man send me word that he wanted to give us a donation. And so I was like, okay, well that's fine. And he's like, no, I like to pay for a certain project. Do you have something? And I said, well, I can come up with something. So I wrote up a proposal for new racks for the store, and he wrote me a check for $2,500. So it's just, it's been that way the whole time. They tease me about praying for furniture because sometimes we get so much stuff, they'll say, okay, you can quit praying now, Donna. But the people in Oxford have been very, very generous and very helpful. And we not only help the people that work here, we are continually donating clothing, household items to people that have lost their home to fire, or one organization came and had orphans that needed coats and gloves and things for Christmas, so we donated to that. There's Doors of Hope in town that help with the homeless. We sometimes give them things too. So it's not only about helping the mentally ill and giving them a job, which is our main focus, but it's about helping anybody that we can help, really. Our objective here at Holding Hands is to make sure that our employees are treated with respect no matter what they do, and that we have a calm working environment so that they feel safe and secure here and don't have to worry about being ridiculed or mistreated. And that's very important to me, and that's our main goal here. We're excited about making it a year. Wasn't always sure we would, but God has been faithful, and January the 2nd will be our anniversary, and we will have been open a year, and we're just really excited. We are thinking about building on and expanding because, as you can see, we're full, and we have 2 storage buildings full. It's just been really exciting, and I'm excited to see what the future is going to hold for us.